Alright, gentlemen, I have never been this excited in my life. A new Jeff Nippard video just released. This time about, as you can tell, best and worst quad movements. So, I haven't watched this previously, and I thought it would be really fun, because I don't have credentials over this guy. I mean, look at him, he's fucking ginormous. I don't have credentials to say whether or not what he's saying is, like, fucking accurate or not, but what I do have the credentials to do is to make educated guesses about what he's gonna say and then go play bingo. So I think that's gonna be very fun. Here we have just 9 exercises on the bingo card because I couldn't think of any more. So first off is pistol squat F tier because instability. Sissy squat gets S tier because of stretch. That will obviously clear the stretch box as well. There will obviously, in my prediction, be a few exercises that nobody does ever, just to pad out the timing and the list of the video. Deadlifts will get C tier, as they have done in every other Jeff Nippard video. Hack squat is going to be the best exercise because it's very trendy, and because Dr. Mike Israetel. Similarly, front squat bad because Dr. Mike Israetel said so. I said Dr. Mike Israel here because I thought it would be funny to misspell things, like with the name of the list. In light of recent events, however, maybe I should have made a different choice. Anyways, there's also going to be Bulgarian split squats are unstable with dumbbells, so do them on a strength machine. That's what he's going to say in my prediction. And then there's also going to be the fucking barbell squat ranking highly, just like the bench press did in his chest video, because powerlifting bias. Let's get started. Let's profit off of other people's work. Yippee. Sexual intercourse. Okay, let's see, what is this? Pendulum squat, fucking barbell, front squat, hack, low bar, leg press, leg extension, Smith, fucking lunges, goblet squat, Bulgarian, step ups. This is the reverse Nordic, I think. Here we have is that a fucking calf raise? This is a plyometric jump. Assisted sissy squat, single reg, fucking shit. Oh, here's the actual autism I was talking about. 18. This is gonna be a fucking curl into a squat. Here's the deadlift, that's gonna get C tier. And here's the fucking ball catches. Okay, so I can check off one before the video even starts. 2F for fuck. Oh, for fail. My bad. Holy shit. I just realized the desktop audio wasn't recording. Whoopsies. Okay, let's go back 13 seconds.
What are the best and worst quad exercises for muscle growth? Well, in this video, I'll be ranking 20 of the most popular movements on a tier list from S for super to F for fail. And at the end, I'll crown one exercise as the best of the best.
Yay, hack squat incoming. Yay, curl and squat incoming.
Into S tier, it needs to
Need to have a deep stretch because Dr. Milo won't said. It's really cool if you get a deep stretch. Okay.
3 boxes. First, high quad tension, especially in the stretched position. Second, it needs to feel good. That means it doesn't cause knee pain, and it has a smooth resistance profile. Third, it needs to have a simple progression. That means you can apply progressive overload by either adding some weight or a rep from week to week. Now, as I'm sure you all know, there are 4 heads of the quadriceps.
I don't know this, actually.
Actually, one
I know like 2 of them.
Suggested that there could be a 5th head, but if it does exist in some of us, I don't think it changes anything training-wise.
Okay.
4 heads are the vastest.
Is that a fucking dissected? What is that ungodly music he just put?
Actually, one recent anatomy paper suggested that there could be a 5th head, but if it does exist in some of us,
it's like a deflating clown. Holy fuck. That is a pretty scary cross-section.
I don't think it changes anything training-wise. The 4 heads are the vastus medialis, also known as the teardrop muscle.
Yes.
The vastus intermedius, which runs down the middle, the vastus lateralis on the outside, and finally there's the rectus femoris, which is a long, flat head that also runs down the middle on top of the other heads. All 4 heads contract to perform knee extension, which is when you straighten your knee out. So every exercise we'll cover performs knee extension. However, one head...
Oh, hold on. Forgot to add this to the bingo, but I think it's gonna be like, oh yeah, leg extensions are fucking C tier because they don't get a good stretch.
One flat rectus femoris has a second function. It also performs something called hip flexion, which is when you raise your leg up to the front. Keep this in mind for later. All right, let's get the worst out of the way so you guys don't waste any time.
Dumbbells, curl, and squat.
Combination exercises like the squat plus press and the lunge plus curl are going straight to F tier. That's because your quads are way stronger than your shoulders.
Nobody
your
does
arms,
these.
So your upper body
Yippee.
is always going to fatigue well before your quads.
But yeah, obviously I agree.
Those
This is a
squats are
retarded
so bad,
exercise,
they didn't even film them.
except for
The
like
problem is, because
GPP,
they're so unstable, your ankle
cardio.
ends up doing a lot of the stabilization work, and that severely limits the amount of tension that your quads receive. They might have some utility in some athletic contexts, but for building muscle, those ball squats are going straight to F tier.
That's gonna bother me so fucking much that he didn't film it. So it's another guy in the icon.
Barbell back squat.
Yay.
Well, let's see.
Let's see.
It offers high tension on the quads deep in the hole when they're most stretched. They should feel good, especially when
Yeah.
you're locking your bar pad.
Surely.
And they might be one of the best exercises for progressive overload, period. You can always add a little weight or a rep each week as you gain size and strength. Now, because it's a free weight squat, your spinal erectors will have to do some stabilization, but that's not a deal breaker in my opinion. Your quads are still the prime movers, and if you need any proof that squats can build some monster quads, just go to a powerlifting meet.
I agree.
All the biggest squatters will have some massive quads, and I don't think I've ever seen an exception to that. Now, some anatomy enjoyers will point out that the
Anatomy
head
enjoyer.
is
Nice.
not maximally activated by the squat because, unlike the other three heads, it's shortening at the knee while lengthening at the hip. This is
Okay, so he's gonna rank it very high. So, my the reason I say, because powerlifting bias, and the reason I'm kind of fucking, you know, this, it tickles my tip in the wrong way a little bit, is because he says, like, on exercises that he likes, which are the fucking power lifts, because he likes the power lifts, because he used to be a fucking power lifter, he used to train for that, he kind of dismisses the claims like this. It's like rectus femoris activation isn't the maximal, whatever the fuck, right? But then with other exercises, like with other things, it's like he would use these arguments. Like, it just, I don't disagree with him. Fucking 100% really cool. That the back squat, yeah, go do it, build fucking large legs. It's just the what's really unfortunate to me is the this does feel like it can be a double standard. I'm retarded. Double standard, whereas I don't know if I can offer a concrete example of this, but like you can tell when he likes an exercise because he'll be like, yeah, sure, fucking the opposition will claim this and this and this, but that doesn't matter. And it's like, okay, but then why does it matter when it's an exercise that you don't like? And it's like, he's correct. It's just a little bit of a double standard here.
The other three heads, it's shortening at the knee while lengthening at the hip. This is true. However, studies still show pretty solid rectus femoris growth with squats, and as long as you include one other exercise in your program that we'll get to, this concern
and this is like extension, yippee,
goes away. So while the mild anatomy concern almost pulls it back to A tier, you just can't take the barbell back squat
Yep.
there with S tier without a guilty conscience.
He's correct, but again, the issue here is that, like, this is completely fucking incongruent with, like, the, you know, the recent trends of, like, top 3 quad exercises to give a try. Number 1, kneeling single arm masturbation in the lie prone position. It's like, dog, just fucking, yeah, just do this. Just do this. It's incongruent with, like, the recent trend of, like, well, the stretch and the whatever. I wonder if he's gonna distinguish between a low bar squat and maybe rank that higher. Because that may make sense. But yeah, high bar squat, fucking epic lit.
The barbell front squat has all the same upsides of the barbell back squat, except it actually shifts even more tension to the quads.
Really? I mean, I agree with him, but you would think that, you would think that front squat bad because Mike Israetel said so.
Because where the barbell center of mass is shifted forward in front of your neck, you're forced to keep a more upright posture so you don't fall over. This increases the moment arm to the knee joint.
Yeah, I agree. Is he gonna say anything about the feel-good factor? Because that is not fucking, it's not, front squats are not fun to take anywhere close to failure.
Placing more tension on the quads. That said, the forward bar position will also force
Yeah.
your upper back to work harder, and some coaches will argue that this causes your upper back to become the limiting factor. I don't fully agree. Unless you're going super heavy, you really should be able to keep your elbows up, and you should be able to get your quads close to failure without your back giving out first. Now, front squats will lose a few points in the feels good department.
Okay,
for
thank
some of
you. Finally.
Remember that
For some of you, motherfucker.
you can use the 2-finger grip,
That's true.
crossed arm grip,
That's true.
or the strap grip. Whatever feels
Very
best.
true.
From there, just focus on keeping your elbows up, squatting down between your legs, and standing back up with a tall.
Yeah, but I agree, and in my very limited experience, it's an amazing quad movement. It's just, again, Like, these are the type of arguments that you would usually use to knock this down.
Chest. I'm going to put these in A tier.
Good job.
Despite activating the quads a bit more, I find enough people just hate doing them or find the bar position awkward, and I don't think there's enough of a tension shift to trump that. If you can do them comfortably, though, I'd have no problem if you bump them up to S tier. Okay, so we've covered a high bar back squat,
Yay.
a front squat. What about a
low bar squat gets B.
For a low bar squat, you shift the barbell down 2 or 3 inches so it sits on your rear delts instead of your upper traps. And research shows that while this technique will allow you to load more total weight, it actually shifts some of the tension away from your quads and onto your glutes. This isn't a complete deal breaker though, because you still see extremely high quad activity as long as you're squatting to a reasonable depth. Low bar squats are going in A tier.
Oh, A tier, nice.
Squat is a long time staple.
Okay, I don't know how good it is.
The barbell squat, plus it has a few extra
benefits.
Yep,
this is getting the best exercise.
Faster because there's less setup. You'll be a bit more locked in, meaning less stabilization work and potentially more direct quad tension. And you can play with your foot position to find a comfortable spot without worrying about your balance. Contrary to popular belief, the latest science shows that on average, free weights and machines can both build muscle roughly equally. Okay,
yeah, that's why this is getting best exercise. Or the fucking shitty-ass pendulum squat. Holy fuck, please don't let that be the best movement.
This is truly a brilliant quad builder, and it's obviously going in S.
Yep.
The pendulum squat is
oh, wait.
Hold
on. Alright.
Except the weight moves up and down in an arc.
If this makes it lengthen bias, then this may get best exercise, but I've done this like once and I don't fucking remember. I just remember it being hard and I don't like it because it's hard, because I'm a I'm a fucking pussy. Okay, let's go.
I find this resistance path feels more natural than the linear half squat. So these movements just keep getting better and better. That said, most gyms don't have a pendulum squat.
That's true.
So not everyone will be able to do it. Still think it belongs in S tier though. Alright, last squat type movement for now. The Smith machine squat seems to be a bit more accepted now than it was 4 or 5 years ago, especially as more top bodybuilders gravitate to it. I think the best thing about the Smith machine is that you can actually push your quads close to or to failure.
Okay, this part, yeah, sure, whatever. Cool, yeah, true. My one tip for anybody doing a Smith machine squat, please put your feet forward more than you would usually do. Even if you're not doing a Smith machine hack squat, like, even if that's not your intention, please put your fucking foot far forward, because otherwise, you're just not gonna have fun and you're not gonna be training your quads very effectively. If you if you wanna keep the Smith machine bar over the middle of your foot, you're just not gonna have a good time. Let's see if I made any bingo things here. Yeah, so there wasn't this. Let's go.
Fear of falling over or needing to dump the bar. And other than potentially reduced stabilizer involvement, it really is the same basic movement pattern as the free weight barbell squat. So for hypertrophy, it also has to go in.
Yay.
Alright, let's move on to the 45-degree leg press. Since you're also flexing and extending the knee, the quads...
Okay, be careful, because my kid's rippetoe says leg press good.
Of course, receive high tension. However, I do find that a lot of leg presses don't allow me to get as deep as I can get on.
This is true.
Again, as far as hypertrophy is concerned, the deeper you can get, the better. So if you're not able to get your calves to your glutes, you might not be getting as much out of a leg press as you would out of a deep squat. Outside of that, though, leg presses do generally feel good, and they are good for overload. I'm going to put them in A tier. Now, the horizontal leg press is worse in my opinion.
The horizontal leg press does suck more penis in my opinion as well.
Because they almost always have an even more limited range of motion. So it'll be harder to get high tension in the deep stretch. Once your legs get decently strong, they'll probably max out the machine. Overload is going to be more limited from intermediate to advanced lifters.
But you can do this single-legged a little.
Is going in C tier.
Really?
The lunge is a better glute builder than it is a quad builder, in my experience, even though it will grow both. You get some stretch and some tension on the quads, but not as much as you get on the glutes. They do feel good, but if you're doing them right, you should feel your glutes more than your quads. You can get the quads more involved by taking more shallow steps, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think they're best utilized and best thought of as a glute builder.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you can make it fucking bias any movement. Like this, I don't really care about a lot of these, because they're not too controversial. This is gonna get like B.
Quad exercise, they're going in B tier.
Yeah. For example, I'll just let it play.
I'd say they'd probably be A or S tier for glute growth. All right, the leg extension. This is a surprisingly controversial one. Some people say that they're better for your knees, but this has been thoroughly debunked. Now, if you have bad knees, or they give you knee pain, you should go easy on them, but there's no convincing evidence that they cause knee issues.
Yeah, they do feel pretty shitty for me a lot of the time.
More than any other quad exercise. But the great thing about the leg extension is that your hips are fixed. This means that unlike squat-based exercises, your rectus femoris will actually stretch and contract here. This makes it the first
let's go, that's huge.
all four heads of the quads will be highly engaged. This is even more the case if you set the seat back. In fact, a brand new study found significantly more overall quad growth, especially more rectus femoris growth, with the seat back leg extension position. That's most likely because it places the rectus femoris under more stretch, or at least
Alright, so he's gonna put this in S tier. The trouble with putting this in like purely S tier, like Giga, Ultra, Epic, Quad Grower tier, is for fucking like really new people to the gym. They're gonna be like, oh, okay, squats are hard, so I'm gonna fucking I can just pick one of the other S tier exercises. Yeah, let's go leg extension. Obviously they can like do multiple movements, but it's like, I don't think these two should be equated. One is like very clearly supplements the other, I think.
It at a longer muscle length. Assuming you're leaning back and you've got a machine that stretches your quads well, I think they're good enough to get into A tier.
Oh, A tier, nice.
The same overload
Never mind then.
Squats do, and even though some studies do show similar leg growth between leg extensions.
Okay, all of these fuckers you can overload with like an extra gym pin, or like just plugging in 45-pound plate before you put the pin in. Like, I don't think that's a valid claim here.
Squats, those are short-term studies. I'm just frankly doubtful that doing leg extensions will net you the same quad gains as doing squats.
Yeah, I agree.
That said, there's still a statement.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, no. This is my least favorite thing about this. So listen to this. What he says here is true.
Squats, those are short-term studies. I'm just frankly doubtful that doing leg extensions will net you the same quad gains as doing squats over the long term.
Okay, so he says this because he likes the squat because it's a fucking power lift. My issue is that he's correct here, but then he should also say the same thing about like barbell rows, for example. Barbell rows versus whatever horseshit fucking cable exercise that he like one arm kneeling wrapped around whatever that he also promotes, because literally the same things can be said, right? What, like, for example, what's gonna activate your lower back more? Fucking barbell row, which he was probably like good lord, like you can probably do that for like half of your squat one rep max ish, or like an actual squat. Like what's gonna cause you more lower back limiting horseshit, right? So if that can just get ignored here in the quad section because the squat is a power lift and he likes it, but it can't get ignored, and it's like a really big issue, like, oh no, your lower back may be the limiting factor when it's a fucking bent over row for like just cause that's not one of the big three. It's like, dog, that's the double standard that I'm talking about here. Is that here he's talking about how some single joint isolation movement that, like, you know, isn't gonna give you the same results obviously as taking your squat up like several hundred pounds. Yeah, that's true, that's great. What isn't great is that the same thing can and should be applied to the fucking back, and especially the back exercise tier. Let's putting the pull up in B tier or whatever he did, and like fucking putting those single arm cable whatever iliac shits above it, and not bringing up the same exact point for that. That was just a really large miss in my opinion.
That said, they're still a staple on my leg days, and they're an exercise I definitely think is worth including. Alright, the reverse Nordic is the same basic movement pattern as a leg extension, except they have the added benefit of being more accessible. You don't need a leg extension machine to do them. You can also get a much deeper stretch on your quads here. The slight negative, though, is that they are really tough, meaning beginners might struggle with them, and they can be hard to overload with weight, so you're a bit more limited.
I mean, I think finding the perfect fucking band to fit you may be a little bit harder than finding the leg extension machine, but I don't know, that's just me.
Options. You can still add a rep.
Oh, that's cool. That's actually true.
Deeper, and because the stretch is S tier on
okay, that's
so accessible.
That's a very good
in A tier overall. But if you find them really awkward,
good piece of advice there.
If you drop them back a tier or two. All right, let's knock out 3 final squat variations. One that I love, one that I hate, and one that's just okay. Goblet squats are biomechanically very similar to a barbell front squat.
Yeah.
They will highly activate your quads.
But the overload potential is fucking negative.
They're actually a lot.
Let's see if we got any more bingos.
To overload. Once your quads get decently strong, you'll be able to squat a lot more weight than you'll be able to comfortably hold. So the goblet squat will quickly be limited to high rep sets only. These days, I generally only use it in 2 contexts. For teaching the squat to beginners, and as a high rep finisher exercise. These are just okay for me, and I'm putting them in C or B tier. I guess B tier, since they definitely can have their place.
Motherfucker.
Squats will burn some calories.
Are you sure?
They aren't terrible for building explosive power, but But as a muscle builder, there are just too many other better options out there that'll provide more tension
Yeah, I agree.
and more overload. I'm not a fan of these for hypertrophy, so they're going in F tier.
For hypertrophy, yes.
Are brutal, but they sure do work.
Yes.
They get a huge stretch on your quads, and doing each leg unilaterally can be very helpful for preventing any left to right muscle imbalances. But because they're so fatiguing and psychologically challenging, they usually...
Oh, go fuck yourself. If you're, like... Okay, that, I don't mean that. I'm sorry. I'm very tired, and also... I speak without thinking sometimes. I do not actually mean that. Jeff Nippard, you are very cool. Please don't fuck yourself. However, I had a visceral reaction to that because it's like, it just, if he knocks it down because it's psychologically demanding, like, yeah, that's a real factor. But it's like, so do them. The solution isn't to avoid it. Let's see what he says.
Only program 2 sets of these per workout. Your quads will get more sore doing these than on almost any other exercise. And while soreness isn't a one-to-one predictor of hypertrophy, in this case, I think it is a good indication that you're hitting the right muscle. I'm putting Bulgarian split squats in S.
Okay, never mind. That's good. Don't go fuck yourself entirely. My bad. Whoops. My responsibility, my fault.
Lifts do activate the quads, but not nearly as much as squats do.
But they're a C tier because there's no stretch.
As far as the quads are concerned, a deadlift is basically a quarter squat. You'll get a bit more quad involvement if you deadlift with a sumo stance.
Okay, bro.
Don't hold a candle to squats for quad growth. They're a much better glute builder, and they're an excellent overall strength builder. But for quadriceps and muscle growth, deadlifts are going in C tier.
Yep. Fucking predicted. I don't think we can get a bingo here. Oh yeah, there's a stretch. Wait, does that count, or do you need like 4? I don't know. How do you win bingo?
Step-ups are equally not fun as Bulgarian split squats, but also less effective because you get less quad stretch, and they're less stable. They do offer a pretty solid glute stimulus, though, especially...
Yes, I think these are more glute-y.
But overall, I'm feeling C tier on these.
Okay, motherfucker, it's not... that the difference isn't enough to fucking knock it back 3 tiers. Like, come on, man.
I'm feeling C tier on these. Pistol squats are an impressive movement if you can do them.
Yes.
The lack of stability and overload limitations knock them down quite a bit for me. If you're limited to at-home workouts or body weight training, I think they're great, but assuming you have gym access, there are just so many better options. I'm going to put pistol squats in C tier.
Agreed entirely. I'm glad he did not put them in F.
Sissy squats are similar to reverse Nordics in that they get a huge stretch on your quad.
Except they're easier. Let's go.
These are very challenging. That said, they're a bit harder to load, so I find I'm mainly limited to adding reps when it comes to overload.
How do you load a Nordic?
Learning curve than the other squat options. People can also find it awkward going up onto their toes and getting their knees all forward. But if you can get the technique down, I do think they're probably the best squat option for getting into a super deep stretch on the quad.
That's not a squat. Oh yeah, it is. My bad.
I'm feeling A or B tier on these.
Really?
I do find them a bit awkward though, so let's go with B tier.
How do you find those awkward and not Nordic? Well, I guess you're a bit more stable on the Nordics. It's fine. Okay. Well, sissy squats did not get S tier. I'm very sorry, but I think they should be an A. Like, come on.
And if I had to crown just one exercise,
it would be the pendulum squat.
Best of the best for quad growth. I think I'd have to go with a hack squat.
Holy fuck. Did I win? I think I won.
The pendulum squat feels better, but because most gyms don't have one, I'll go with a hack squat. The one issue with hacks is that on some machines, you can't get to full depth without coming up solid.
Yeah, I know.
For you,
that sucks a little.
On top of your shoulders, and then you'll be able to get all the way down. And if your gym doesn't have a hack squat, I'd say a high bar barbell back squat would be my alternate go-to as a #1 quad builder. And if I had to pick one exercise as the worst of the worst,
it's the curl.
It'd have to be the Bosu ball squat. Just get rid of the Bosu ball, and it immediately becomes more stable, more safe, and more effective. Now, do you know the best and worst triceps exercises? If not, you got to check out my new video on triceps training over here.
That's really fucking funny because I have a fucking add-on that disables that feature,
for this one, guys.
So I can get baited.
Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't already.
I did enjoy the video.
Here in the next one.
Oh, I love this outro. Steroids are awesome. Best and worst tricep. Oh yeah, that one was cool. So, thank you very much, Jeffrey Nippard. I don't know if I did bingo or not. There's no takeaway for the end of the video. Just like listen to everything I said, and everything he said, and then make your own opinion. Okay, goodbye.